South Sudan on away goals after playing a goalless draw at home. Tanzania held South Sudan to a 3-3 draw away to advance. So on the part, the under-23 Eagles had a bye into the second round of the qualifiers. The 2023 Africa Under-23 African is a fourth edition, which will take place in Morocco in June next year. So as previous editions tournament will serve as African qualifying for the Olympic football tournament, with the top 3 teams of the tournament qualifying for the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris. Blyden, not the desired starts many were hoping. Well, having failed with the Chan Eagles, many looking at this as some second chance for the head coach. We're talking Salisu Yusuf. This and here, he can't afford to falter, can he?
Well, the signs are there. He might falter. The signs are there. Come on, friendly match, he can win. That's where he starts from.
It's just one game.
Well, but it speaks volume, especially when you're playing an academy side. It speaks volume. You're the national representative of the side, so you ought to win these kind of games. Whether by win, however you want to do it, even by proxy, you had to win it. And they couldn't win it. It speaks volume about the side. And for me, I'd never been a fan of Salisu Yusuf. I've never been a fan of him, nowhere. Especially after that outing by the Chan Eagles, I begin to ask, why is he handling the under-23 side? Does it mean there are no coaches in Nigeria? That would be the question for me. And for me, I do not have hope that they'll make Nigeria proud. Maybe they might just qualify. But moving on and going to the Olympics, I'm having fears.
Right now, you have such fears. The quality of Salisu Yusuf and what exactly the tactical acumen it brings as a manager. Have you got such fears as led by Blyden?
No, but for me, Salisu Yusuf for me is a brilliant manager. I love him so much. With the works he's doing with the under-23. We saw him at the tournament. Although we crashed out that particular time, he still has something in his locker room. To show to the world that he can still take this brilliant, talented squad, to the next level. So let's just see how things pans out. It's just a game. You can't judge a manager by just one game. So and it's also a friendly. So give you another friendly or give him another important games to come. Let's see how it goes with that. But his quality has never been in doubt, right?
Right. Quality has never been in doubt for him. All right, now, Emmanuel, let's talk about Nigeria's representative of the continent of Africa. Planet United are off now to Tunisia ahead of the Axrans game. And yesterday, I talked with Blyden and Mary how things are changing. Also had the story of Rivers United, they'll be jetting out early to Morocco ahead of the Rivers fixture against with Athletic this particular weekend. So it looks like for this particular term, the teams and the principals understand the importance of making early preparations, preparing the team early and putting them out there early, just to acclimatize and, get prepared for the task ahead. This must be a good omen for Nigerian football.
Certainly it is, because when you look at the fact that on the part of Plateau United, they are moving to Tunisia and they can't fly from Nigeria to Tunisia straight. They had to fly to Turkey to board another flight to Tunisia. The good thing is that they left on time. And on the part of Rivers United, also getting prepared to head to the north is also something to look out for. Looking at how critical the second leg is going to be. They started well, despite the fact that they missed a lot of chances in the first leg. But going all over to the second leg to play, they need to do everything humanly possible to ensure that they secure qualification. And that will make the fans happy, and especially those the River State outfit. They will also get the promise that was promised them by the governor, by the Nigerian Wiki, the $40,000. I think that is also a motivation on the part of the Rivers United side. But on the whole, I think Nigeria, at the end of the day, if not both of them, at least one of them, we will shock the Northerners, the African Northerners this time around, despite the fact that it has not always been an easy job, easy outing, going up against the northern part of the northern teams. But at this point in time, I believe that if not both of them, that at least one of them will secure a place, or will book a place in the group stage of this year's CAF Champions League.
Concerning, I remember the story of Aqua United, when they played at the continent as champions of the MPFL. A similar journey, played Belouizdad to get to Algeria, had to go to Turkey, get a connecting flight. And it's problematic, some of those diplomatic issues should be resolved. So, around one continent, can't even travel freely. You look at this story with Kenya and the visa ban and all that. These things must be sorted out well. So this, you can have free movement around the continent of Africa. Just leave the country here. Let's quickly tell you the story of preparations in top gear ahead of the commencement of the NPFL, whenever we would have that. But Aqua United on their part, they're preparing very well, and tomorrow they would have a friendly game. We now understand that according to the media manager of the side, Mfon Patrick, they will be involved in a pre-season friendly at the Enyimba Stadium in Aba later tomorrow. So it's Aqua United versus Enyimba by 3 p.m. at the Enyimba Stadium in Aba. Well, we're tracking that particular one for you and bringing the latest results and the stories concerning Aqua United to build up to the new season. Let's look at the UEFA Champions League very quickly, and the headlines there from the Nigerian perspective. Rafael Onyedika helping Club Brugge reach the UCL knockout stage for the very first time. It's been an incredible campaign for them. I talk about the Belgians have enjoyed some fine stats to live in Europe this particular season. Victor Osimhen returned yesterday and helped Napoli keep up their 100% stats to live in the European money spinning competition. They've also reached the knockout stage. We talk about the Nigerians, African TV liking, and how they fared on a glorious night of European football returning. We'll have the second and third tier return later tonight. That's the UEFA Europa League and the Europa Conference League. But first up, let's talk about the UEFA Champions League, guys.
Actually, I liked the first half already, to be 100% honest. Big parts of it, at least. Of course, again, we conceded that goal. It was well played. Reaction was good. And in our good spells in the first half, we played already exceptional between the lines, and we showed the boys situations that we can do and have to do that more often, and then it will be pretty exhausting for our Rangers, because it was tough to defend us in these moments. And and then Darwin opened the box and more as well, and then it was well scored. Harvey, huh? That's 6. Yeah, that's it.
Mo's hat-trick is the fastest in Champions League football. I mean, this is a ruthless performance, it's every word for it.
Yeah, different position. Yeah. More inside. We have to force him a bit, but it's no, of course, he's an outstanding player, we all know. And today he showed that, and that's good.
And speak.
All right, so that Jurgen Klopp talking about the 7-1 dropping at Glasgow Rangers. The bid Rangers by 7 goals to 1. Mo Salah was scoring the Champions League fastest hat-trick, came off the bench. In that particular win, Roberto Firmino scored twice as well. Darwin Núñez, Harvey Elliott also getting on the act elsewhere across Europe. Atletico Madrid were held at the Wanda Metropolitano by 10-man Club Brugge, who've now reached the knockout stage of the money-spinning UEFA Champions League elsewhere. The Portuguese side FC Porto beat by Leverkusen in Germany by 3 goals to nothing. Well, was some second half. You give off 2 halves basically. Bayern got the job done in the first. Pilsen had the second, but so 4-2 win for the Bavarian Giants, who also reached the knockout stage of the Champions League. Victor Osimhen got one of the goals. Raspadori also in the act. Kvaratskhelia also there as Napoli made it back-to-back wins against Ajax 4-2. That's how it ended at the Estadio Diego Armando Maradona. Well, the real game of the night, Minisio came from Spain, where Barca and the Camp Nou, well, they are one leg in, one leg out. And I looked at the story. I was looking across social media and I saw the handler of the Europa League, was just calling Barca. It said, FC Barca, come. Looks like this is where you'll be ending. For a second successive season, on the verge of being knocked out of the Champions League, courtesy of that 3-3 draw at the Camp Nou against Inter Milan. Inter, now of course, have got one leg into the next round. All they need is to win Victoria Pleasant in 2 weeks' time to book their place in the knockout stages and send Barca to the second tier. Tottenham Hotspur had a 3-2 win against Eintracht Frankfurt, while Marseille beat Sporting Lisbon by 2-0 away from home. Well, Blyden, let's talk about Barca. For the second successive season, despite the huge investment in the side, it's the same story. On the verge of being knocked out. Let me use the word I used in the morning. Technically, they're still here in the Champions League, but it looks like it's just a matter of time, because suddenly, except football happens in 2 weeks, Inter will be Pleasant, and that would confirm Barca's departure from the Champions League to play Thursday night football.
Wow, I want to say it's sad, but I wouldn't say so, because like Manchester United, like Barcelona these days.
Nice.
But this is it. I watched a game, a thrilling game. It's a game that had everything, exception of a red card. You need the passes, it gave you. You need a counter-attack, it gave you. You need a keeper launching the attack, it gave you. You need defenders, blunders, it gave you. Everything you could think of. And you need carelessness from the coaches, it gave you that. Solidity from the coaches. At some point, I could remember Inzaghi standing up telling the referee, you have to end this match now.
Sent off.
I was sent off. That's the red card we missed. It didn't happen inside the field, it happened outside. But basically what it is, enticing football night for me, exceptional stuff happening. But you look at the Barca team and it gets so disappointed. And the questions that will come to mind would be, first, why was Frankie de Jong not starting the game? Why was Hesse not being part of this mix? What's happening? What is it with the Spanish delegation in the midfield, talking about Gavi, Pedri, and the other? So it doesn't make sense to me. So I look at Lampard and I see Xavi. Lampard at Chelsea at the time, I see Xavi. He's sacrificing the success of that team in the Champions League for maybe being sentimental about these folks from Spain. And that's where they're going. For the big question for me would be, is Barca not good enough? Or is Xavi Hernandez not good enough?
Well, that's a tough question to answer. Looking at Barca, these particulars, and they've been very brilliant. I call them, the big boys in their league, but coming to European competition, they're just small boys. Looking at Inter Milan on the other hand side, Bright, Inter Milan's couple of seasons ago, they were very, poor when it comes to European competition. But, last season and this season, they've showed quality that they also have what it takes, to compete where the big boys are competing.
They haven't shown any quality. It's just how terrible Barca have been.
No, but last season, Inter Milan, they were in the same group with Real Madrid. They fell to the Champions League, and this season, they've been able to get a point at the Nou Camp. A tough ground for any team to go there and get a point.
This Inter last season, Eintracht Frankfurt got
Mari. This Inter won't even beat the Tottenham Hotspur who sit there and complain about every single week. That's how poor Barca have been.
Well, yeah, Inter have been poor, judging from what we're seeing in the Serie A. Basically, they've not been that good.
They've been poor,
right? Yeah, really poor. But for Barca, I think I'll tilt towards Blyden's perspective. Well, what's his name? Pedri and Gavi, fine players, but you're talking about the big season, Champions League, and then you've got players who understand the enormity of that kind of game on the bench. You're not playing them. I'm looking at Kessie. He cover a lot of spaces for you defensively, because Barca had a lot of defensive issues on the night, and I think Kessie understands the kind of player Barella is, because they've played against each other a lot of times, Syria and with AC Milan, Inter Milan too. He would know how to track him. There was nobody like that in the team. Look at Frankie de Jong as well. He understands, the threats that maybe Stefan de Vrij brings to Inter Milan. So he'll definitely make sure he tracks them well. So these players are on the bench, and you're not playing them.
Why is Xavi still Barca's coach? after such a dreadful night?
Well, I was really surprised. I think at some point inexperience also affected him, and because at some point he was tactically deficient.
His second European campaign?
Because you ought to know that despite how poor Inter Milan are at the moment in their domestic league, that when it comes to the European when it comes to the continental level, they will give you some. They will definitely give you some problem, and that really came to be last night. The defense was hugely miserable for Barcelona. The defensive deficiency was not.
I saw stats that Barca in the last 13 games, the Champions League, have won just twice: Dynamo Kiev and Victoria Plzen. That's actually very sad, to say the least. For a coach like Xavi, but as
a coach like Xavi, who's Xavi?
Now here's the point, right? Now here's the point, right? Well, I feel that if he does not learn lessons early enough, he might get the sack, right? But the truth is, like you said, there's this emotional attachment to Xavi. That's why a lot of Barca fans are looking beyond, the mistakes. He's not as good as people think he is.
Now we talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
Ernesto Valverde in his place, Kike Setien in his place.
Yeah.
What's the Argentine? Coleman in his place. He would be sacked 3 minutes after that game.
Exactly. Tata Martino.
Yeah, Tata Martino. That's the name I was looking for.
I agree with you, Brad James. They'll be sacked, especially after spending such amount of money. Bring in the likes of Lewandowski. In fact, Lewandowski is enough for you to be sacked if you don't deliver. That's the truth. Look at it at Bayern Munich was scoring goals for fun, and now you can win games.
He's the third highest goal scorer in the history of the competition, only behind Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi.
Tell me, Brad James.
How big he is. Well, let's leave the Barca blunder and look elsewhere. Atletico Madrid, they've been terrible to say the least. You can't beat Brugge despite 8 shots on target, 10 chances in the first game. What are they still doing here, Sorex?
Well, Bright, if you could recall what I said yesterday, I said I trust Diego Simeone and the players that they won't lose, at the Wanda Metropolitano.
But they didn't lose.
They didn't lose. They grabbed the points. They have 4 points. Seated third. In that particular game, they still have 2 games to go. So I feel they will still qualify. But in every competition, we do not have, a dark horse in the Europa League and also in the Champions League as well. This season currently, I think, Club Brugge and Napoli, they seems to be the dark horse in this particular one because no one saw them, going as far as they are going in this particular competition. So let's just see how things pan out. But Atletico Madrid, they still have quality in their side, and as things goes, they will still get to qualify for the Champions League. Right.
All right, now quickly before we continue the conversation and allow fans to join, let's hear from Song Heung-min.
Yes, with 1 man less, I think it was a tough moment. I think the last 10 minutes or last 5 minutes was a really, really tough moment. Obviously, in the Champions League, we never know what's going to happen, and especially 3-2 and the last minute and last 5 minutes, it's always been always tough. But yeah, it was uncomfortable sitting on the bench and watching teammates suffering, but look, I think the most important thing is that we got 3 points.
All right, so that's Song Heung-min, who scored twice last night. Harry Kane had his first chance to go of this current campaign and had another penalty saved in that game as well. Now let's look at the standings before we allow you to join. Maximum 12 points for Napoli, have already qualified for the next stage. Liverpool need just 1 more point to reach the knockout stage as well. The second in Group 8 have got 9 points. Ajax were they headed for the Europa League, except something changes. They're third with 3 points. Rangers are fourth with no single points. Group B has Club Brugge qualifying for the next round, 10 points from 4 games. FC Porto is second with 6. Atletico third with 4. Bayer Leverkusen are fourth with 3 points. Group C has Bayern Munich 12 maximum points have reached the next stage of the competition. Inter Milan could also join them with a win against Plzen in 2 weeks' time. The second with 7 points. Barca third with 4. Plzen no single point of the 4 games. Group D has Sports top with 7 points. Marseille closely following second spot with 6. Sporting Lisbon also on 6 points. The matter of superior and inferior goal difference. Frankfurt rock bottom with 4 points from 4 games. Group E has Chelsea top with 7 points. Followed by Salzburg got 6. AC Milan have got 4. 7 points is Dynamo Zagreb after 4 games. Let's talk about the fixtures and the standings rather from Group F. Real Madrid top have qualified for the knockout stage. Leipzig is second with 6 points. Shakhtar Donetsk have got 5 points, while Celtic rock bottom there with just single points. Group G has Manchester City qualifying for the next phase, 10 points. Dortmund second with 7. Sevilla third with 2. same as Copenhagen. So it's a race for who gets the Europa League spot. Group H has PSG top, joins top with Benfica 8 points each. Juventus and Maccabi Haifa 3 points each. Plays third and fourth. So it's a battle for who gets the Europa League spot. We'll talk about more. Please join the conversation now. Welcome, football fan. Name and location.
Hello, Brighton Sports Crew. Good afternoon.
Yeah, welcome, Top Gunner.
But talking of Nigerian teams participating in that competition, I believe their return leg is a matter of days. For Plateau United, along they have traveled already to Tunisia. Very nice move. Let them go there for me acclimatize. No more of their opponent. Overheard their coach, Steven Kenechukwu, talking talk that they need to attack and attack. Advancing to attack and watch his back against counter-attack from North African teams. Yes, it will be an easy task for Rivers United and Plateau United. Playing North Africans at their backyard with their vociferous fans. I can't forbid officiating. I believe one of them will qualify. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Top Gunner, for joining. We appreciate you. Welcome, football fan. Name and location.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, Brad. Marizana, I'm sorry, Brazana. It's a really great time, the sport oracle. Brajan, let me thank my team Chelsea for them. At least this recent 2-6 has really taken Chelsea in a good, very fast way. So that is what football has been made of. Let me say that when it comes to Champions League issues, Chelsea has not been able to lift out. So Rampotta coming as a coach, we do his best for him to maintain the player and still develop players for matches. But then let me say that for the three teams that is from Nigerian CAF Confederation and Confederation Cup, the record, you must do well to stay the full record, and the Flamingo ladies must do well to defend their next match. That's what I think for.
Thanks for joining. Welcome, Victor. Thank you for joining.
Hello.
Football fan. Name and location.
Bless you, James. Bless you, everyone in the studio.
Yeah. Welcome, Jerry.
Jerry, calling from your bright. Like they used to say that you love the best. I think my team Chelsea, when they started this UCL, this season, we were rock bottom from the first and the second game. But kudos to the team and the manager who just see a need for them to do something good, and they caught the 2 wins from AC Milan and go on top of the table. For now, I think it's a good one. As for Juventus, honestly, I don't even know what to say because I'm so disappointed for that team this season. And what I can say is that the team should make sure that they drop so many players. They should do new recruitment. They should make sure that the team, they build a new team, because what I'm seeing today, you cannot go far. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining. We appreciate you. Welcome, football fan. Name and location.
Good afternoon, sport analyst, Mr. Easy on the line.
Right, Mr. Easy.
Let me quickly commend Liverpool and congratulate them for last night winning against Rangers, high-flying Rangers. And
high flying?
I want to say that, yeah.
Which
yeah,
high flying? Where exactly are they flying?
Rangers, they are unstoppable in their league.
Which? No, they are not. It's Celtic.
All right. But they are also a big team in Scotland, as long as Scotland is concerned. So I wish a Jogging Club should imitate that kind of football and apply tacticians in some certain departments, because I am not very impressed with our number 2, Jones. I don't impress with that guy's performance.
Jones?
So if anything for him to apply in that form against the upcoming game with City, I think we should be work on that particular. And let me also commend Salah to silence some of their critics, scoring hat-trick, keeping a very brilliant record in Champions League football, where Ronaldo and Messi couldn't keep the record. I wish Salah would keep on flying with the color against City coming up this weekend.
All right, Mr. Easy.
We are not good.
but we are going to play City a very wonderful football.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Right. That man is right. Rangers are flying high. They are second in their league.
Welcome, football fan.
Second. 7 wins in 9 games.
Thank you, Dominic, for joining us.
Flying high.
I cannot hear your voice, whether you are talking.
I'm
But
talking.
I want to congratulate all Nigerian representatives who make every perfect movement or arrangement to make sure they move in time to go and acclimatize over there. So it counts as an intimidation to both to all those teams. So I feel it's a good preparation, and I love what they are doing. No one give them a chance, especially a person like Manizona here last week. He didn't give them a chance, but I strongly believe that maybe this is the season for Nigerian teams. So I say congratulations for them. And as for Barcelona, I think they don't. It is not a good thing for them to sack Xavi. It's a legend to them, and sometimes whenever he last season.
Dominic. So why is Lampard not Chelsea coach?
A small team or a league, it seems that the forces are too strong. So it's just giving him a time for him to be able to beat Inter, but not being able to beat Inter.
All right, Dominic.
Something that should be fast.
Thank you very much for joining. We appreciate you. Take 3 more calls and then we'll talk more. I'll be generous.
Good afternoon, Sport Group.
Welcome.
Yes, I'm calling you from you.
Welcome, Akan.
I want to commend Chelsea for that splendid performance they have put against AC Milan, home and away. And I thank them so much for proving all this wrong. Because unlike Bishop, your colleague, he said that Chelsea could finish for top 10 this season. Even Liverpool will finish 11 position this season. I thank Chelsea so much for giving us what we want. And please help me tell Liverpool. And please let them put draw against Man City this weekend. So that everybody will come together and start the league afresh. Because I don't want to go far or like that. Angry and Arsenal. So when we have to do well.
All right, Akan.
This weekend. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us. So let's start the league afresh. Welcome.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, by James.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah, but we have young for invited.
All right.
Yeah, but I want to say that I don't know why some of these young coaches are always sentimental whenever they are asked to coach a club from their country. I'm talking in terms of Barcelona. Look at Xavi. Look at what happened to Lampard. Almost similar situation. They want to use the players from their own country mostly. I think that's one of the problems that have been causing this downfall for them. They should try to make amends on that aspect if they don't want to fall. As for my team Chelsea, I know that no one can catch up with us. It's our year. Thank you for having me.
Year for what? All right. Wish you'd stay here a bit and then we'll talk about that year. Welcome, football fan.
Hello. Good afternoon. The sport analysis.
Thank you very much for
This
joining
is
us.
the Liverpool fan. My name Matthew. I want to add with what Mr. AC said. Rangers and Celtic is a strong team in Scotland. As far as Scotland is concerned.
Where are they in Europe?
Yes. For Liverpool to beat Scotland 7-1, Napoli plays Scotland either 6-0. So it's a good result. Thank you for having me.
All right, then Napoli play Liverpool. How many? Football fan, implication. Good to have you join us.
Yo, Mr. Izzy again
30.
on the line. I want to advise some of Premier League fans who happen to take Liverpool as a laughing stock because we are in the 10 or 11 position or so. We know what is going on with the team. And as a matter of fact, I keep on blaming my tactician because he is the one that making Liverpool lie where it is on the table. for his stubbornness also contribute for the hero and all any other thing making Liverpool to be where it is.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Welcome, football fan. Name and location.
Yes.
Yes.
Along that, officials concerned has called up the Beach Eagles tournament.
Yes, they have.
I thought partially. Talking about that is the best man for the job. The problem is need to work on his defense as I watched them yesterday. And moreover, Barca is made up of group of players from different planets. They have not joined together. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining. Welcome, football fan. Name and location.
Hello, Brad. Good afternoon, Nelson.
Yeah. Nelson, talk to us.
But something wouldn't make me that Barca will make it. Honestly,
Make it to where? Where? To where?
I think they still have one match to play.
Well, they have two, but if Inter wins against Plazen in 2 weeks' time, it makes nonsense of whatever results they have in the remaining fixtures.
Means having against.
But what I don't like is the situation that when teams are eliminated in the Champions League, they will now get involved in the Europa League.
This is smart now.
In my opinion, UEFA is not fair to teams currently playing their group matches. The way Arsenal are playing now, I think they are on the verge of winning the Europa this time.
I think I know where
But if a team like Sevilla, they think that they own that title. So I'm afraid if Sevilla is demoted to play in the
Europa League.
well, honestly, I am afraid.
Well, I understand where the fear is, my brother. When the likes of Ajax, Barca, Sevilla descend down to the Europa League, it definitely limits Arsenal chances.
Yes, Champions League.
There's no need to fear because Europa League is not that easy now as people think.
Yeah,
Not that easy.
Yeah, because Barca were there last season.
Yeah, well.
Sevilla, Dortmund, but the winner was Eintracht Frankfurt.
No, but-
Rangers were finalists.
Yeah, but we're saying if Arsenal gets any of that pairing,
Well,
It gets very scary, quite scary. I'm telling you.
Well, the Arsenal fans thinking of the Europa League this season.
yes, he is. He said they want to win the Europa League.
But
Wait for Barca and Atletico Madrid.
But Brett, honestly, I see Barcelona falling down to Europa League. Like this morning when I was listening to the analysis, I actually compared that particular situation of Barca to biblical assertion, which states that it is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than the rich man to enter into the kingdom of God.
Please, let's stop it. Welcome, football fan. Good to have you. Thank you for joining.
This is Prince calling from here.
Right, please.
James, I'm very happy the profile is talking. Among all the scoreline, I was very happy to see the minutes on the scoreline. So I pray that you should keep the link to the running and City on Sunday. That's what I say. Thank you for calling.
Thank you for joining.
Hello, good afternoon.
Comrade Sylvester.
All right. I want to react to this issue, saying that Liverpool has done well because they have beaten Rangers.
Yes, high-flying Rangers.
Yes, I don't know where the position of Rangers in the Europa, when we talk of European League. We would grade Liverpool very well on Sunday after their match with Man City. I told him that Arsenal would beat them. He was joking and said we will beat us black and blue. So let him wait until Sunday where we will see. Liverpool is suffering from the absence of money. It's not that. Let them buy somebody like money. Thank you.
Thank you for joining. Welcome, football fan. Name and location.
Well,
let's not do that here. I don't really know. So Messi won't cut. Maybe it's Mario or this man. No, Blackney is a pastor, so Blackney is the man Messi won't cut.
Can't tell you,
Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead, talk to us. So sorry about that. All right, so finally, before we leave the Champions League, he came back from that injury, and these two were dropped. Came into the fray in the second half and, changed the complexity of that particular one, dropping some of the key actors, even in that Liverpool side, to the bench. Will it be the antidote to transmogrifying Liverpool's fortunes in this season's campaign domestically and in Europe going forward?
Well, for me, basically, when you're having a team and some players seem to have that position so secure, redundancy comes in, they're not playing the way they ought to play. So once or twice, you have to do that bold decision, drop them on the bench. But sadly, it had to be against a Rangers side. Many Liverpool fans will call Rangers high-flying side. I do not see how high-flying they are. They've not won any game in the Champions League in the 4 legs yet. So it's basically the step. So who do you want to pound on? It ought to be Rangers. And sadly, it had to be at Ibrox Stadium, which last season was a fortress in the Europa League. This season, Liverpool just met a mess of the Ibrox situation.
Welcome, football fan. Embarkation, good time to join us.
Hello.
Thank you for joining.
Good afternoon, James. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead, talk to us. Well, I can hear you. So sorry, you couldn't hear me from your end. But I think we should switch gears, talk about the Europa League and take Facebook comments right now. Europe in the second and third tier. In the Europa League, Bodo Glimt host Arsenal by 5:45, 8 p.m. PSV Eindhoven play FC Zurich. Larnaca Fenerbahce in Group B, Dynamo Kiev runs by 5:45 each. At the same time, Betis taken Roma in Spain. Ludogorets Razgrad taken Helsinki in the fiction Group C by 8 p.m. 5:45, Union St. welcome SC Braga from Portugal. By 8 p.m. Union Berlin in Germany hosts Malmo FF. Now, let's look at Sociedad. FC Sherry. Same time, Manchester United welcome Monia Nicosia to the Old Trafford. Feyenoord Grass by 5:45 p.m. respectively. 5:45 is the time for Nantes-Freiburg in Group G. Karabakh FK Olympiacos as well. Away from there, Group H has Varenvaros taking Krefna Zvezda by 8 p.m. Same time, Trabzonspor in Turkey play Monaco. Fiorentina Hearts in the Europa Conference League, Istanbul Başakşehir RFS. And of course, the fixtures from the FCSB taking Sigeberg by 8 p.m. in the Conference League. West Ham Anderlecht, Ostrovienne, Villarreal, Hapoel Beersheva, Lech Poznan, Partizan Belgrade, FC Cologne, Nice taking Slovako. Akma, Varus Dinamo 1, Jogaden taking Ghent, Shamrock Rovers taking Molde, Slovan Bratislava taking Basel, Zagreus Vilnius taking Pionik, while Klotch taking Slava Prague, Balkani Sivasspor. Fixtures later tonight. Let's go to Facebook, Mari and Solorex, and I have the comments from there very quickly.
Yeah, from the live feed, we have 5 comments, and I start with Daniel Stanley. Say, Baka finally disappointed me yesterday. Then Pizarro Zito say, Manchester United to win tonight by 4-0. Then Francis Ozon Namani says, good afternoon, watching you guys live from Enugu State. Bright James, congratulations to Napoli for qualifying to the knockout stage of the UEFA competition. Thank you so much, Francis Ozon. Then Mr. Sopa said, finally, Kama caught hijackers FC. Kudos to Barcelona in the Europa League. Then still Mr. Sopa said, Brights Afomesin one who caught. Finally, then Chiweze, you will say, good afternoon, Planet Sports Crew. Nice hearing from you guys again. Glory, glory, Manchester United this evening. But Bright James Afomesin one
That's the second question.
That's the second successive
That question was for you.
Mari, take us to
Yeah,
the
so
World
from, the,
sports page.
from the sports page, Tony Davies says, good afternoon, guys. Musala scoring a hat-trick against Rangers won't stop Liverpool from struggling in the league. For Barcelona, they should just sack Xavi. He's too inexperienced. Mr. Sopas says, good afternoon, sports group. So after Barca signed all the atomic bomb and grenade, they will still end up in the Europa League. Hey, yeah, Kunde would have just said that Sevilla and played Europa League in peace. At least over there, he's sure of winning. Not here, the little Grace will knock them out. Kudos to Lewandowski, new face of Europa League. Inter should have just get all 3 points last night. They deserved it. Abraham Adori says, I wish you see De Jong play in the Europa League after rejecting Manchester United because of the Champions League. Well, United fans then. Jamsey Official says, I wish my team United a great outing this evening. Inter did Barca's chance of playing in the Europa League, but they won't escape it. Frankie de Jong must play Europa League. Thank you. Ito Wokon says, kudos to all the EPL clubs that won their matches yesterday. So Barca, I think Chelsea players are working for the hijacked players from Chelsea. See them in the Europa League. Bishop Junior Sukwa says, good afternoon, Bright James. Glory, Man United. I wish my team to win today. 3 goals, senior. I love Planet Radio. Calvin Onyeme says, I was so happy seeing all the EPL teams winning convincingly yesterday. As for Barca, the way they played yesterday, Europa League is their portion. This weekend, I joined OK and pray for that team. Israeli Mano says, when is Chelsea's next game? An update on Rhys James' injury. When is he going to return? Ephraim Itia says, definitely Europa League is calling on Barca. Clearly, Xavi is doing favoritism in that Barca. Why would he bench Frankie Christensen or Kunde to play aged Piqué and Busquets? Paulinus Okon says, I think Xavi only wanted to accord Piqué a chance out of respect, but it seems he has now confirmed why he should be left at the background as a player coach, although De Jong should have started. From Manchester United and Arsenal laughing Barcelona, let them wait for Barca to descend down into the Europa League. Micah Anyekan says, another very wonderful day to listen to you guys. Yesterday's games were very shocking. Teams like Rangers are supposed to be playing in the Conference League. I must confess, the Champions League is not what it used to be any longer. Jimeli Dan says, I'm wishing my blessed team Chelsea the best this weekend. Writing you guys from Cameroon. Thank you very much. Paul Polycaps says, I want to congratulate all the EPL teams on the winnings during the Champions League match. I wish my able Chelsea team the best weekend. Obon Itasen finally says, good PM guys. I'm tipping my club Arsenal for a win tonight against Bodo Glimt, though that place is a difficult terrain, but we have what it takes to win that game and progress to the next round of the competition. So, Bright, those are the comments on the sports page as we speak to you.
All right. Thank you very much for joining. Now we hear the Hand of God ball is set to be sold for 2.5 to 3 million pounds. Well, sadly, how time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
How time flies. Like, it's been a while. We haven't heard from him.
Famous.
Yeah, famous Junior.
Famous.
Yeah, I think I have his number. I'll put a call across to him after the show.
Yeah.
How time flies.
Wow.
With Bright James. So, did you see that picture?
Yeah, well, how time flees. Unwepo Phil career has been stolen. That's coming from Fabrice Mwamba. Well, it was in a similar situation. Well, he was older, 29, but Webb was just 24. Very sad story. Well, thank you very much, Emmanuel Lidets. Thank you, Solarex. Thank you very much, Marizona, for joining. Thank you, Blind McKen. Thoroughly appreciate you.
Bright, United are playing Ammonia Nicosia today. I want to see Francis Uzo in the goal.
Let's see how that goes. I'm Bright James. Come out, have fun, guys. Beach Ryan is back there with our Plans Rush. And something big, collaboration, Tap Media Group, and Air. So right here for that.